Where do you think an animal like this crawled out of? And how have we never seen animals like this until it was caught on camera? These are just 2 examples of the 20 times that the world's most elusive animals decided to interact with us, and the results were very unexpected. Beginning with the Alaska Loch Ness Monster. The mysteries of the world are often hidden to the ordinary eye, from ghostly creatures prowling our streets to shocking encounters with creepy freaks of nature and several phenomena that shouldn't be in this world. When a 15-foot mystery believed to be the Loch Ness Monster was spotted gliding along Alaska's waters, the sighting was received with mixed reactions as it made it to the local news channels. Some of the locals were excited about the creature because they thought it was the Alaskan version of the much-talked-about prehistoric Loch Ness Monster that had a long history of being sighted, but no one had ever seen it with their eyes until now. The creature surfaced along the Alaskan waters around Halloween, so this made the sighting extra spooky as speculations and theories began to spring up about it. This creature was much longer than any other sea creatures in the water, and it kept swinging back and forth in the murky water. There have been sightings of other mysterious creatures in Alaska, such as Bigfoot, but none of those findings elicited as much excitement as the supposed Loch Ness Monster. So the big question is, if this creature is the prehistoric monster, why did it surface now? Authorities couldn't determine if the creature that attained the status of a demigod within weeks of its discovery was actually frozen ice or a real monster. Well, you decide. Next up is another creature that had experts and authorities puzzled about its identity. Is that a one-eyed deformed fish in a reptile form or an oval-shaped alien fetus? Let's find out. Alien fetus. Australia is home to several unique animals: kangaroos, wombats, koalas, colorful birds and reptiles, but could it be home to aliens too? A mysterious creature turned up in the suburb of Marrickville, just outside of Sydney, Australia, that sparked off speculation that aliens could be lurking around in the shadows in Australia. After several days of heavy rainstorms, one of the residents, Harry Hayes, put on his running shoes to take a run and enjoy the cool weather. He had barely run a few distances when he spotted something lying in a small puddle of water, something so bizarre it was impossible for him not to notice it. My gut says it's some kind of embryo, but with COVID, World War III, and the floods going on right now, this could very well be an alien, Hayes said. The mysterious creature lying lifelessly on the ground was oval-shaped, and it had an eye and a tail. The creature's fetal form and grey skin elicited numerous reactions and theories on social media. The number one theory most people leaned towards was that this creature might be the remains of a developing alien life. Experts, biologists, and academics who were called in to help had no answers to the questions this creature has raised, but they also agreed it could be some sort of early-stage life form. What is this thing? I thought possum or glider embryo, but I have no context or scale, and none of my peers can agree, biologist Elia Alyssa wrote on social media. Another expert believed the creature could have been picked up by a bird from somewhere else. While the runner who found the creature, Harry Hayes, was poking it with a stick, there were no obvious marks or injury on the creature. What that means is, the creature couldn't have been dropped from the sky, and experts believed it didn't come from the ocean either, so the big puzzling question remains. What is this creature, and where did it come from? Due to the creature's tail and embryonic nord, which is the predecessor to the spine, experts conclude that this creature isn't an alien, but the fetus of a mammal which was still at an early stage of development. Their best bet is that the creature is a marsupial embryo, maybe a possum's fetus that didn't fully develop in the womb. You'll agree with me that the alien theory sounds interesting even though it's far-fetched. Let's take a look at another claim of an alien sighting: frozen alien. Exploring frozen lakes could be a fun adventure, but digging them up could lead to unexpected findings. When this curious guy decided one cold winter to dig up a lake, he didn't find a frozen body underneath it, or a deer, which are often the usual finds. He discovered something much more terrifying. Buried and frozen underneath the lake was a face that was pale and creepy, with large dark eyes and light green skin. No one knew how the creature got there, but the best guess was that an alien spaceship must have crashed there. One thing with discovering strange creatures is that there's no telling where you might find them, and it could even be in your own yard. The fairy with human legs. A family in England had a strange experience right in their own yard, and this might be the most frightening and exciting encounter they would have their whole life. So, this family captured a human-like fairy with wings on a tree in their backyard. Wouldn't you say that was an interesting find? A humanoid fairy with dangling human legs and wings. That's not something you'd forget in a hurry. Strange noises in the middle of the night could be frightening, but coming face to face with Bigfoot is even scarier, and the homeowners in Pennsylvania are about to find out the real meaning of terror. The albino Bigfoot. This footage was recorded in Pennsylvania, where a creature believed to be an albino Bigfoot was sighted. Imagine this: you heard a strange noise in the middle of the night which you couldn't ignore. So, you grabbed a flashlight and went out to investigate, and what you saw was no ordinary creature, but the mighty Bigfoot itself. Yep, that was exactly what happened to some homeowners in Pennsylvania. With a camera in hand, and his heart probably in his throat, a brave homeowner pursued the albino Bigfoot through the woods, trying to get a closer shot of it. The next creature you are about to see shouldn't even exist. Its presence is proof that the supernatural exists. Wessex Way Monster. If you are a night crawler, you are likely to come across humanoid creatures in contorted positions once or twice in your lifetime because they rule the night. A surveillance camera along the Wessex Way captured the creature crossing the road in the middle of the night. The creature's upper body seemed too broad for it to be a deer, and its hind legs seemed much longer for it to belong to an animal. Since its first sighting in 2007, the Wessex Way Monster has become a local legend in some parts of England. Several sightings of the contorted human-like creature have been made since it was first sighted. The Wessex Way is surrounded by woodland areas on both sides, so a creature of this nature being spotted along this way checks out. In the city of Oklahoma, a strange creature announced its presence every night by making strange banging noises throughout the night. The flying, unknown creature. This mysterious creature that has been terrorizing an Oklahoma City family, keeping them up at night, made it to the local news. The scalloped wings creature kept banging the family's back porch, making a continuous eerie thud. And how do you sleep with such a noise? The family went to great lengths to stop this strange nocturnal creature from visiting them every night, but the creature seemed to be out for revenge. Perhaps it was having too much fun tormenting the family. They tried everything from bug repellents to blocking their windows, but the sound only grew worse. Thud, thud, thud was all they heard all night long. Their fear of the creature grew, and they couldn't keep their lights on at night because of the frightening creature. A wildlife expert, Micah Holmes, believed the mysterious creature was a giant moth. He stated that moths could grow up to 7 inches long, and they are big enough to make a frightening thud sound if they flew into a glass. According to the wildlife expert, the giant moth could be drawn to the family's back porch because of the lights or surveillance camera. It's creepy that a creature as harmless as a moth could continuously throw itself into a window and stir up so much fear. Now let's talk about the creepy digger caught on camera in a cemetery. Creepy digger. 2 teenage girls on a break from work decided to take a drive through a local cemetery. The serene drive they envisioned turned into something akin to a scene in a horror film. The girls spotted a dark figure at the far end of the cemetery, digging up a hole frantically with its hands like an animal. The girls were spooked, but one of them hastily pulled out her phone and recorded the weird creature. Then they uploaded the footage on Sasquatch Chronicles, a paranormal podcast. One of the frequent visitors to the website, Colin, saw the girl's video and decided to see for herself if they were telling the truth. Colleen drove to the cemetery, and to her shock, she found a freshly dug hole that seemed to have been dug by a disturbed individual or a paranormal creature. But the creature had either slunk back to its hiding place, watching from the shadows, or had long since gone. A group of French students thought it would be fun to explore an abandoned pool, but what they stumbled across made their blood run cold. Glowing eyes in the dark. Exploring abandoned houses can turn out to be exciting in ways one never expected. When a group of French students decided to explore an abandoned swimming pool, nothing prepared them for the horror lurking within the 4 walls of the place. The students were all excited as they explored the swimming pool with a flashlight, until they entered one of the changing rooms near the pool, and that was when they saw it. Something was lurking there, and its eyes were glowing in the dark. The students shrieked in terror as they fled, running in different directions. The creature looked like a human, perhaps a homeless individual seeking refuge at the abandoned building, but we both know human eyes don't glow in the dark. Plus, what sane person would seek refuge in a dark, abandoned changing room? It's as puzzling as the unknown climbing creature spotted under a bridge in Ukraine. Ukrainian spidery creature. What could that thing be? That was the reaction most people who saw this footage had. An unknown creature was seen hanging under a bridge in Ukraine in 2017. The creature didn't look like a bat, and no human could hang upside down like that, slowly descending from a bridge. So far, it hasn't been determined if the strange creature was a monkey, and there was no report of a wildlife animal escaping from a zoo. I don't think that looks human at all. Doesn't look like it has clothes on, all one color, but if it was a human, it would have to be a pretty incredible climber, a cryptid enthusiast shared. This next mystery will give you chills for days. Who knows? Even ghosts like birthday cake. Birthday ghost. Let's head to Japan, where this mystery took place. It was a young girl's birthday, and her family gathered in their home to celebrate with her. It was all fun, until it was time for the birthday girl to blow out the candles on her cake. Fortunately, someone grabbed a camera and captured the special moment, but later on, as they watched the footage, the family saw something that sent a chill down their spines. There was an extra unknown face in the photo, lurking in the dark, right behind the birthday girl. Could this unknown entity be the apparition of a deceased child wishing to be a part of a cherished celebration once again, or a creepy, sinister monster waiting to ruin this family's joy? I guess we'll never know. Is this next creature we are about to look at one of the wonders of the world, or deformed? The little piglet has caused so much stir, all because of how it looks. Human-like pig. A piglet with a human face? Clearly, nature sometimes plays a cruel joke on us. Whatever is responsible for this has already robbed the piglet of the chance to live a normal life. The locals couldn't help trembling at the sight of the creature, and when all the buzz surrounding its birth dies down, who knows what would become of this little guy? The little piglet might not receive the same care that its peers would receive from its owners, and who knows, it might not even have the same lifespan as its peers. If you think this piglet is scary, then you have no idea what terror is. Have you ever explored an abandoned tunnel only to see a creature that looks like a cursed, blood-sucking demon wearing a robe? Yeah, that's what terror is. The Haunted Tunnel. A YouTuber known as Highway 9 and his dog, Misty, were hiking through the mountains when they came across a narrow tunnel and decided to explore it. With his dog behind him, the young man walked into the mysterious tunnel and began to explore it, but he didn't find anything else other than some sleeping bags. So, supernatural being. They pointed out that the dog didn't bark, as dogs often do when they spot strangers or something unusual. Since this YouTuber uploaded only that one paranormal video on his channel, there's a possibility that he had truly seen something evil in that tunnel. Something as sinister as the Indonesia Tuyul, the Indonesia monster. This bizarre occurrence happened in Indonesia. It was lights out, or maybe there had been a recent power outage, but it didn't stop the friends from sitting on the front porch and entertaining themselves by strumming the guitar. It seemed like a tranquil night, but unknown to the boys, something dark and sinister was watching them and biding its time to pounce on them. What started out as a fun session became a nightmare as the boy filming his friends spotted the creature, which he referred to as Tuyul, which means monster or goblin in Indonesia. The dark figure charged at the boys, but instead of immediately pouncing on them, it flew into their home and then emerged again. But the boys had taken to their heels, running into the dark night. These sightings are chilling, no doubt, but who is the enemy here? Is it humans who keep late nights and set up cameras to capture creatures that would rather remain in the shadows, or is it the creatures that shouldn't have existed in the first place? For example, what are skinwalkers doing prowling the night when they should stay hidden in the shadows of nighttime? Skinwalkers. A group of friends were out in the woods late at night when they came across a phenomenon they never thought existed. Let's go back to July 25th, 2024. A group of friends were hiking in the woods, and it was extremely late at night, but they had each other, and they had been drinking, so adrenaline was pumping through their veins. They were having a good time as they strolled along the trail, and then they saw glowing eyes in the dark. However, these men weren't spooked because they thought the beings with glowing eyes were a herd of deer, nothing they couldn't scare away with a piece of stick. How wrong they were. As they got closer to the glowing eyes in the dark, they realized there wasn't one creature there, but three weird, unknown humanoid creatures with skinny limbs and eyes that shone. Ironically, the creatures seemed to be scared of the guys as they kept a distance between them and didn't charge at them. The creatures were crawling around strangely, with their bodies contorted in an eerie way, and one of them was on the ground. Perhaps it was injured. As the group of friends bravely advanced towards the creature, they picked up the injured one and slowly retreated. Then, a fourth humanoid crawled out of the dark woods to help the others carry the injured one away to safety. These creatures are believed to be skinwalkers, with the ability to shapeshift and take the form of other creatures, including humans. I bet you'd be shocked and maybe even spooked if you set up a trail camera, hoping to capture a few wildlife you could boast to your friends about, but what walked into the frame looked like a ghost from the past. The Creepy Walker. A forest firefighter set up a trail camera deep in the woods of Washington state, hoping to capture the footage of a deer or some other wildlife, but instead, a strange figure, like a character in a horror film, walked into the frame. It's important to note that this trail camera was 6 miles away from any buildings or civilization. So, where did this figure come from? The image was captured by the camera around 8:45 p.m. The figure in the photo doesn't look like a human. It was wearing a white gown and was holding an eerie doll. Its skin looks too pale for it to be a human, and look at how she's just standing there lifelessly while clutching that creepy voodoo doll. This is not a creature you want to run into, especially when it's dark and you are alone. Some people have argued that this person could be a dementia patient that had wandered far away from home and gotten lost. But remember, this scene is 6 miles away from any civilization. There are no buildings, residential homes, or hospitals around this place. There were also no reports of a missing person, and this image didn't match with that of anyone. So there's only one possibility in this scenario, and it is that the image you are looking at is a ghost from the past. Now let's take a look at the creepy crawler, or giant rodent with spooky eyes that beamed lights. The Thing in the Sewer. This strange creature was captured on the closed-circuit camera of the Northwest Water Company utilities in England. When the workers saw the footage, the creature in it didn't make sense to them. Rats are often found in sewers, but what sort of creature is this? It seemed too big for a rat and was standing upright, and its eyes were glowing. None of the water company employees have seen any creature like this, hence none of them could identify the creature, can you? Gargoyles could be scary, but do they come alive at night? Walking gargoyle. Imagine how terrifying it would be if you were being tormented by a strange walking gargoyle, yet no one believes you. So, this guy, Rick, had been dealing with a series of unnatural occurrences in his home, and it was being caused by a creature that lived in the woods around his home. No one believed him until he set up a camera outside of his home. Rick would often hear the strange noises the creature was making late at night, but he had no idea that the creature was closer than he thought. There have also been sightings of a creature that looked like a dog at first glance, but shapeshifted into a man as soon as the camera lens turned on it. Dogman. Two friends who were fishing suddenly spotted a creature across the lake. The creature seemed to be drinking the water, and they decided to take a shot of it. As they zoomed the camera lens across the lake to get a clearer shot, the creature, which they assumed to be a dog, suddenly stood and took the shape of a man. The friends cried out in shock as they observed that the dogman had fur on its body and stood on 2 legs like a human. Let's take a look at the footage once more. There are so many strange beings out there in the wild, and there's no telling what one might come across. Like this guy who stumbled across a giant ape while hiking in Mississippi. The 7 feet tall ape. So this guy, a YouTuber, Josh Highcliffe, was hunting for wild hogs when he saw a creature much bigger and more dangerous than the hogs he was haunting, a giant ape. Josh was sitting on a low branch when he heard the sudden sound of something breaking. Then he looked up, and his excitement waned as he stared at the creature in front of him, which was twice his size. But what was this creature doing? The giant ape was ripping a dead tree apart with its bare hands. Now, imagine what the creature could do to a man. Fortunately, the creature was too busy with its task to notice Josh, who sat still, trembling in fear. However, when the creature stood and Josh saw how gigantic it was, the ape was about 7 feet tall, and Josh, who couldn't hold back his fear anymore, ran for his life. If you are out hiking or camping, especially during the night, you should keep your camera at hand. Who knows the creatures that could be lurking around? It is not all creatures that can be seen with the ordinary eye, so for your protection, you should invest in a camera. If you enjoyed watching this video and would love to keep exploring exciting videos like this, then go ahead and click on any of the cards on your screen.